Okay, so first thing we do in the morning is we come in, we turn our probe on. We've got a YSI Pro DSS here. I'll turn it on, let it set for a couple minutes. It'll warm up. In that time, we'll go through and calibrate to make sure that all the parameters are in calibration. And the parameters we're going to be looking at today, if you can look here on the meter, is we're going to mainly focus on temperature, which is just going to tell us how hot and cold the water is. We're going to look at the DO, which is the dissolved oxygen. That's how much oxygen is actually in the water. That's what the fish use to respire and breathe. Salinity, that is how salty the water is. Normal seawater is around 32. Our water here is anywhere between 27 and 30. And then pH, and that's going to be how acidic or basic our water is. A good acidity is around 7.8 to 8.2. So we're going to go ahead. This meter looks like it's in calibration. We'll take it to the brood rooms and start doing our parameters. So what we've got here is the model tanks. This mod here is red drum. There's 4 tanks on each mod. Each one of them has got 5 fish in it. There's 3 females, 2 males. The tank is completely computer controlled by water temperature and light duration. Inside the tank there's 3 lights. Each light is designed to come on in a 15-minute increment. It simulates the sun rising in the morning. During spawning they stay on for 11 hours. And after 11 hours they'll go off in 15 minutes increments again, which simulates the sun setting. We look for a temperature between 72 and 76 degrees water temperature. That will allow our red drum to spawn. Here at Sea Center we've got 3 mods of red drum, 2 mods of spotted sea trout, and 3 mods of southern flounder between our 2 brood rooms. So here I am in our life support room. I'm going through and checking that each of the heat exchangers, the temperatures are properly set to control the temperature per each mod. So the next thing we're going to do is collect zoos. Zoos are microscopic little animals that live in our ponds. And in order to do that, we use what's called a zone net here. It is a known volume of a fine mesh net that will dip down into the water to a certain depth, pull it up, bring the sample back, and we'll collect that. Standard procedure says we do 30 liters of water sample. So we'll take this net that has a known volume and radius. We'll calculate the height of the water column that we need to take, which is 36 inches. We've gone through and put a little mark there. So when we get out to the pond, we'll actually drop this down in the water to this little piece of tape, which is 36 inches from the face of this net here. We'll pull it back up and collect. From there, we're able to calculate that we're actually sampling 3,000 cubic meters of water volume, which is standard procedures for collecting zoos. So we'll come over here, we'll grab our sample bottles. We have 1 bottle for each of our ponds out there. I'll take y'all, show you how we do 1 or 2 of them, and then we'll come back here in the lab and we'll look at them under a microscope. Okay, so here we are pulling up to the pond. Each pond we have a separate sample bottle for. So I will set the stopper to hold the sample on the bottom of the zone net. Take my net and walk over to the pond. and then drop the net down to the tape or mark on the net so that we get 30 liters of sample water. I will slowly bring the net back up to collect the sample, and then from then bring it back to the mule. From there, I will take and make sure my bottle's open, take some clean water and wash our sample down to the bottom of the net and make sure that the whole sample is down in the bottom where I can open it up and drain it into the sample bottle. Again, I'll spray it down with a little wash bottle to make sure the whole sample is washed down into the sample bottle. I will close off my sample. The line is 100 mils of water. When I get back to the lab, I will fill it up so that we have an even 100 mils sample. Here I'm topping off the sample to 100 mils, and then I will go and get our Daigle solution. So right here I have Daigle solution. It's a mixture of potassium iodine and iodine. It's just a fixing solution that's used throughout the industry. So what I'm going to do is just put a couple drops in here. It kills and fixes all the zooplankton I talked about earlier that are in the sample. We'll put a couple drops in there. Mix it on up. We fill up to the line. That's a standard sample of, oh man, I don't even know how much water. Samples. So then what we'll do is go back to the microscope, and I'll take a 1 mil sample, look under the microscope. From there, I'll enumerate about how many organisms we have out in the pond. So I'm taking a 1 mil sample here. We'll put it in the slide, and we'll view our sample. And we'll keep a tally of the number of organisms with our counter here. One of them we'll use for copepods, nauplii, and rotifers. So this here is our feed schedule. Our fish get fed 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Everything gets a mixture of shrimp, squid, mackerel, and then the redfish get beef liver, which is just a substitute for vitamins and minerals that are typically found in the wild, and blue crabs that we're unable to provide them here. So we feed them beef liver. It's got the same vitamins and minerals that they would get from other organisms in the wild. So here's our list of what daily the fish will be getting. Being that today's a Friday, for instance, Mod 1 will be getting 5.9 pounds of squid, no mackerel. On Mondays and Fridays, we normally don't feed the redfish a lot of mackerel because they get substituted with beef liver, and then they'll also get 5.9 pounds of shrimp. So good morning, it's Friday morning. Now we're actually going to prepare the feed to feed our brood fish. I've already kind of started cutting some of the stuff up. We've got our beef liver here. We cut it into small bite-sized cubes. I've got some squid, that I've cut up, and then I'm currently working on cutting a little mackerel up. It's a fish. We'll cut it up and turn it into some more bite-sized cubes here, and then we'll weigh it out and take it out into our brood tanks and feed our brood fish with it. So when we cut the feed, we try to cut it in sizes for the size of the fish. So redfish are a lot bigger than trout or flounder, so we cut that into larger chunks, and because they can take a bigger piece versus like our trout and flounder, which are a little smaller. So we cut it in little smaller pieces that they can eat. So we get a bucket for each mod. Each bucket I'll weigh out for one set of mods, which, as I said yesterday, is 4 tanks. So all 4 tanks of fish will go in here, and we'll divide it between the 4 tanks to feed them out. So we'll look, and today being Friday, our first mod of tanks, which are redfish, will be getting 5.9 pounds of shrimp, 5.9 pounds of squid, no mackerel today, and no liver. So all we're giving them is shrimp, squid, and mackerel. So there's our 5.9 pounds of shrimp. .9 pounds of squid, and no mackerel and no liver, so that's all they're getting today. So now I got my 4 buckets filled for my first room, so we'll go ahead and take them and go feed the fish. Bucket here is designed for 4 tanks here on the mod. I'll take all my stuff and mix it up. So it's all evenly distributed in the bucket here. And I'll take a small scoop and just throw it on the water surface. When I feed, I want to watch their feeding behavior, make sure they're all eating and they're actively eating. When they get done eating, I'll stop so there's not a lot of excess food left on the bottom of the tanks. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're open to the public at 10:30. You can come and watch viewing the feeding. So today I'm going to give you a kind of behind the scenes of what the aquarium view of the feeding. So along with these aquariums, we feed the same thing we do to brood fish. It's a mixture of mackerel, squid, and shrimp. A lot of the fish we have in here, fish we found in open water. There's tarpons and triple tail, a couple snapper, some spade fish, and a rare fish and two nurse sharks down on the very bottom there. Just like with our brood tanks, I'll slowly throw food, kind of watch their feeding behavior, and then look for when they're not interested anymore, so we'll go feed the tank and we'll stop them. There we go. This triple tail here likes sometimes take her right off the bat. There we go. So that wraps up some of the activities we do here at Sea Center as a technician. Anything from doing the perimeters in the tanks to feeding them like y'all just saw, or even pulling zoos and reading what's out in the ponds. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it, and I'll take some questions from y'all if y'all have any.